There's a moment in every soul's journey where the mirror cracks, and in the fragmented reflections, we see not only who we were, but who we choose to become. Today, we delve into a profound truth revealed by Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, through his psychic readings. When a loyal woman is deeply hurt, something sacred transforms within her essence. It's not merely a change, it's a metamorphosis of the soul that echoes through the dimensions of time and space. Imagine for a moment a flower blooming confidently in the sun, offering its fragrance and beauty without reservation. This is the loyal woman, a soul who chose, in this lifetime, to express love in its purest and most unconditional form. According to Cayce's teachings, each soul carries a specific purpose, a lesson to be learned, and a unique contribution to the grand tapestry of existence. The loyal woman carries one of the most sacred spiritual contracts. She came to teach, through her love, what total surrender and absolute fidelity mean. But when that trust is broken, when that surrender is betrayed, when that loyalty is scorned, what happens transcends the physical world. Cayce spoke of impressions etched onto the subconscious mind, the immortal soul we carry from life to life. A deep wound in a loyal soul isn't just emotional hurt, it's a mark imprinted on the very spiritual essence of that woman, forever altering how she perceives and interacts with the world. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to carry an ancient sadness in their eyes, as if there's an untold story, a pain that transcends this lifetime's experiences? Cayce explained that many of our deepest emotional responses are rooted in past lives, in experiences our conscious mind doesn't recall, but our essence never forgets. When a loyal woman is hurt, she's not just reliving present pain. She's a mark imprinted on the very spiritual essence of that woman, forever altering how she perceives and interacts with the world. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to carry an ancient sadness in their eyes, as if there's an untold story, a pain that transcends this lifetime's experiences? Cayce explained that many of our deepest emotional responses are rooted in past lives, in experiences our conscious mind doesn't recall, but our essence never forgets. When a loyal woman is hurt, she's not just reliving present pain, she's reconnecting with all the times, in all her incarnations, where her trust was broken, where her love was disregarded. Loyalty, according to Cayce's readings, is a quality developed over multiple lifetimes. It's not something one is simply born with. It's a spiritual achievement, a result of incarnations where the soul learned the value of faithfulness, constancy, and love that endures even when everything around it crumbles. A loyal woman, therefore, is an evolved soul who chose to express one of the highest virtues of the human spirit in this life. When this virtue is attacked, when this precious quality is wounded, something happens at the deepest level of existence. The loyal woman doesn't just become cautious, she becomes conscious. Conscious that not everyone came into this life with the same lessons learned. Conscious that not all souls are at the same level of spiritual evolution. Conscious that her love, because it's so pure, can be both a blessing and a vulnerability. It's in this moment of painful awakening that true transformation occurs. Cayce always emphasized that our greatest pains are also our greatest teachers. The loyal woman who is hurt is receiving one of the most difficult yet most transformative lessons a soul can experience. The lesson that loving unconditionally doesn't mean loving without discernment. Look around you. How many women do you know who completely changed after a major heartbreak? They didn't just change outwardly, something in their essence shifted. They remain loving, but with a wisdom they didn't possess before. They remain generous, but with boundaries they didn't know how to set before. They remain loyal, but now they choose more wisely where to direct that loyalty. According to Cayce, these transformations aren't accidental. They're part of the divine plan for the evolution of the soul. Every encounter, every relationship, every pain and every joy are pieces of a larger puzzle that our conscious mind can't fully comprehend, but our soul instinctively recognizes. The loyal woman who is hurt is undergoing what Cayce called a mystical death, the death of an old version of herself for the birth of a new one, wiser, stronger, more aware of her own worth. It's a process that happens not just on the emotional and mental levels, but at the deepest level of the soul. Think about the synchronicities that begin to appear in a woman's life after she's been deeply hurt. Suddenly, books on self-discovery start crossing her path. Conversations about spirituality become more frequent. Revealing dreams begin to visit her. People who have gone through similar experiences appear in her life like angels in disguise, sharing wisdom and offering support. These aren't coincidences. They're answers from the universe to a soul that's ready to evolve. And if you're here today, watching this video, absorbing these words, perhaps it's no accident. Perhaps your soul is ready to understand deeper truths about love, loyalty, and spiritual transformation. If these words are touching something within you, if they're sparking recognition or offering comfort, then you're a part of this awakening journey. Join our community of truth-seeking souls, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell. Because together, we're building a space where we can share these profound revelations and support each other on this path of spiritual evolution. The wounded loyal woman develops what Cayce called enhanced spiritual vision. She begins to see beyond appearances, to perceive people's true intentions, to sense the energy each soul carries. It's as if the shock of betrayal has removed a veil that once covered her spiritual eyes. She doesn't become bitter. She becomes wise. This wisdom, however, comes at a price. Innocence is lost, never to return. The ability to trust blindly evolves into a more refined skill of conscious trust. Unconditional love evolves into conscious love. It's a painful loss, but also an immense gain, because it is through this transformation that the loyal woman finally understands her true power. Edgar Cayce spoke of soul contracts, those relationships that aren't coincidental, but rather spiritual agreements made before incarnation. Often, the person who hurts a loyal woman is also a part of this contract, not because it's her destiny to be hurt, but because her soul chose this experience as a catalyst for her spiritual growth. It's a difficult truth to accept, but profoundly liberating when understood. No one enters our lives by chance. Every person who loves us, supports us, challenges us, or hurts us is playing a role in the grand drama of our soul's evolution. The person who hurts a loyal woman may be unknowingly serving as an instrument for the most important spiritual awakening of her life. This doesn't mean we should accept mistreatment or stay in toxic relationships. On the contrary, it means we should understand that every experience, even the painful ones, carries within it seeds of wisdom that, when cultivated, can blossom into extraordinary transformations. The loyal woman transformed by pain develops a completely new way of relating to the world. She doesn't close her heart, she protects it with discernment. She doesn't stop loving, she loves more consciously. She doesn't become selfish, she learns to value herself. She doesn't seek revenge on those who hurt her, she simply removes from her life those who are unworthy of her sacred energy. This transformation has an impact that extends far beyond this woman's personal life. Edgar Cayce always emphasized that we are all interconnected, that the evolution of one soul contributes to the evolution of all humanity. When a loyal woman transforms through pain into a wise woman, she becomes a beacon for other souls who are going through the same journey. She becomes the friend who offers the right advice at the right time, the mother who teaches her daughters about self-love and discernment, the professional who leads with compassion but also with firmness, the woman who inspires other women not to settle for less than they deserve. Her personal transformation becomes a gift to the world. It's fascinating to observe how the universe conspires to bring into the lives of these transformed women exactly what they need to continue growing. Job opportunities that value their new wisdom, friendships with people who share their spiritual quest, and yes, eventually, loving relationships with souls who are at the same level of evolution, capable of recognizing and honoring the preciousness of their loyal love. But here's one of the most beautiful revelations of Edgar Cayce's teachings on this transformation. The loyal woman who has been hurt and transformed no longer seeks to complete herself through another. She has become complete within herself. When love comes into her life again, it's not out of need, but out of choice. It's not to fill a void, but to share a fullness. This is the fundamental difference between the loyal woman before and after the transformation. Before, she loved with all her heart, because that was her pure and generous nature. Afterward, she loves with all her heart because she consciously chooses to do so, knowing exactly what she's offering and to whom she's offering it. The energy that this transformed woman carries is different. It's palpable to those who have spiritual sensitivity. There's a depth in her eyes that wasn't there before, a serenity in her presence that comes from the knowledge that she has already survived her greatest fear, having her trust broken, and discovered that she not only survived, but flourished. Edgar Cayce spoke of soul marks, impressions etched into our spiritual essence through intense experiences. The loyal woman who has been deeply hurt carries one of these marks. But unlike a scar that only reminds one of pain, this mark becomes a source of power. It's the constant reminder of her own resilience, her ability to reinvent herself, her inner strength. This mark also functions as a spiritual detector. She can recognize almost instinctively other souls who have gone through similar transformations. There's an immediate connection, a mutual recognition that transcends words. It's as if their souls speak in a language only they understand. And those who hurt her? What happens to them according to Edgar Cayce's spiritual perspective? The law of karma, which Cayce considered one of the most important universal laws, ensures that every action generates a corresponding reaction. Not as punishment, but as an opportunity for learning. The one who hurt a loyal soul will eventually experience the pain of being hurt by someone they trusted. Not out of divine vengeance, but so that they may understand through their own experience the magnitude of what they caused. But the transformed loyal woman no longer worries about this cosmic justice. She has understood one of the most liberating truths of spiritual teachings. Forgiveness is not a gift we give to others, but a gift we give ourselves. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or accepting the unacceptable. It means releasing the energy that was trapped in the pain so that it can be used in the creation of a new reality. This energetic release is one of the most powerful aspects of the transformation. The energy that was previously spent trying to understand why the betrayal happened, in reliving the pain, in fueling resentment, is now channeled into higher purposes, to artistic creation that expresses her new wisdom, to work that serves a greater purpose, to relationships that nurture and inspire. It's important to understand that this transformation doesn't happen overnight. Similar to the teachings of spiritual leaders like Deepak Chopra, spiritual growth is a gradual process, requiring patience, self-compassion, and faith. A betrayed woman may go through periods of anger, sadness, confusion, and even despair before emerging transformed. Each of these emotions is valid and necessary. They are part of the energetic clearing process that needs to happen for the new version of herself to emerge. During this transformative process, many women report intense spiritual experiences, vivid dreams that bring messages of guidance, moments of profound insight that arrive like beams of light in the darkness, sensations of loving presence that comfort them during the most difficult times. These phenomena could be interpreted as signs that the soul is aligning with its higher purpose. The transformed woman also develops a completely new relationship with solitude. Before the betrayal, solitude might have been synonymous with emptiness, something to be avoided. After the transformation, solitude becomes a sacred sanctuary, where she reconnects with herself, where she hears the voice of her soul without external interference. She discovered that she was never truly alone. She always had the most important company of all, her own soul. This new relationship with solitude is fundamental to maintaining her transformation. It is in moments of silence and introspection that she can process her experiences, integrate her learnings, and continue to evolve. It is also in these moments that she can distinguish between the voice of the wounded ego, which still wants to relive the pain, and the voice of the wise soul, which guides her toward growth. Intuition becomes one of the most powerful tools of this transformed woman.
The experience of betrayal and subsequent transformation removes many of the barriers that previously prevented access to this inner wisdom. The betrayed woman discovered she always had an infallible guide within. She just didn't know how to listen to it. This enhanced connection with intuition manifests in several practical ways. She instinctively knows when someone is being dishonest. She feels when an environment or situation is unsafe for her. She recognizes when she's being manipulated or when someone is trying to take advantage of her. Her generous nature.
It's as if she's developed an internal alarm system that protects her from future unnecessary hurts. But perhaps the most profound change is in her understanding of what it truly means to love. Before the transformation, loving might have meant giving everything without expecting anything in return, sacrificing her own needs for the sake of others, accepting unacceptable behaviors in the name of love. After the transformation, loving means honoring both herself and the other person, setting healthy boundaries, communicating her needs clearly, and choosing to remain only in relationships that nourish her soul. This new understanding of love extends to all aspects of her life. In her family, she stops accepting roles that diminish or exploit her. At work, she seeks activities that align with her values and allow her inner light to shine. In friendships, she chooses people who celebrate her growth instead of trying to keep her small out of convenience or envy. The transformed woman also develops a deeper understanding of the purpose of pain in our lives. Suffering isn't punishment, but an opportunity for growth. Pain is the language the soul uses when it needs to draw our attention to something that needs to be transformed. The woman who has gone through this transformation understands that her pain wasn't in vain. It was the price she paid for her spiritual evolution. This understanding brings a deep peace, not a passive resignation, but an active acceptance of the role each experience played in her journey. She may even feel gratitude for the person who hurt her, not for the pain caused, but for the awakening that pain provoked. It's a paradoxical gratitude that only mature souls can understand. The transformed woman's relationship with the future also changes dramatically. Before, she might have projected the continuation of the same past patterns into the future. After the transformation, she understands that she has the power to create a completely new reality, not through superficial positive thinking, but through conscious choices aligned with her new level of self-awareness. She stops repeating patterns that don't serve her. She stops attracting people who can't recognize her worth. She stops accepting scraps of love when she deserves the whole feast. This change in her choice patterns creates a domino effect that transforms all aspects of her life. The people around her also notice the change. Some celebrate her transformation and feel inspired by her journey. Others, especially those who benefited from her old tendency to give more than she received, may try to sabotage her evolution or make her feel guilty for changing. The transformed woman recognizes these attempts at manipulation and remains firm in her new self. There will be testing periods that arise after major spiritual transformations. It's as if the universe wants to confirm that the change is real and lasting. The transformed woman will inevitably face situations that test her new wisdom. People from the past may reappear, trying to reignite old patterns. New people may appear, offering opportunities that seem good on the surface but hide familiar traps. These tests aren't cruelties of fate, but opportunities to demonstrate to herself how much she has truly evolved. Each time she chooses the path of wisdom over convenience, each time she honors her boundaries instead of yielding to pressure, each time she chooses truth over comfortable illusion, she further solidifies her transformation. The ability to set and maintain healthy boundaries becomes one of the most striking characteristics of the transformed woman. Boundaries not as walls to keep people out, but as gates that open only to those who deserve it. She learns to say no without guilt, to prioritize her well-being without selfishness, to protect her energy without becoming cold or distant. This ability to set boundaries is also reflected in her relationship with herself.
She stops criticizing herself with the same harshness as before. She stops accepting thoughts and beliefs that diminish her. She stops sabotaging her own happiness for fear that she doesn't deserve it. She becomes her own best friend and fiercest advocate. The transformation also awakens in the betrayed woman a sense of mission that may not have existed before. She understands that her experience of pain and subsequent growth wasn't just for her own benefit. There are other women going through the same journey, needing the same kind of guidance and support that she needed. Many become natural mentors, offering wisdom and encouragement to those still at the beginning of their own transformation. This sense of mission can manifest in different ways. Some write about their experiences, sharing their wisdom through healing words. Others become therapists, coaches, or spiritual advisors. Some simply live their lives so authentically and empowered that they become inspiring examples to all who know them. Creativity also often flourishes in the life of the transformed woman. The energy that was once spent on unbalanced relationships can now be channeled into artistic expressions, personal projects, or ventures that reflect her new worldview. Many discover talents they didn't even know they possessed, as if the removal of emotional limitations had also removed creative limitations. Deepak Chopra always emphasized the importance of creative expression for the health of the soul. The transformed betrayed woman finds unique ways to express her new wisdom, whether through art, writing, music, dance, or even the way she organizes her home or dresses. Every aspect of her life becomes an expression of her newfound authenticity. The relationship with money and abundance also transforms. Many betrayed women have difficulty adequately valuing their contributions, whether in relationships or at work. After the transformation, they develop a clearer understanding of their own worth and begin to demand fair compensation for what they offer, not out of greed, but out of self-respect. This change in the relationship with abundance often results in significant improvements in their financial situation, not through manipulation or cleverness, but through the simple decision to no longer accept less than they deserve. They begin to attract professional opportunities that recognize and value their unique qualities. Spirituality gains a completely new depth in the life of the transformed woman. If before she had a faith based primarily on hope, now she has a faith based on direct experience. She has experienced the transformative power of divine love in her own life. She has experienced the wisdom that arises when we surrender to the process of spiritual growth, even when that process is painful. This experiential faith becomes an inexhaustible source of strength and serenity.
She knows with absolute certainty that no matter what happens in her life, she has within herself sufficient spiritual resources to not only survive, but thrive. This certainty radiates from her presence, offering comfort and inspiration to all who surround her. Sexuality can also undergo a profound transformation. The betrayed woman who has been hurt often needs to reconnect with her own sensuality and femininity. The trauma of betrayal can create blockages in this area, but the spiritual transformation eventually dissolves them, allowing her to rediscover this essential part of herself in a healthier and more empowered way. This reconnection with her own sexuality is not superficial or performative. It is a deep rediscovery of her own divine feminine nature, a celebration of her ability to give and receive pleasure in a conscious and sacred way. When she chooses to share this part of herself with someone, it is a conscious gift, not a desperate attempt at connection or validation. Time takes on a different meaning for the transformed woman. She stops rushing towards an idealized future or taking refuge in a past that cannot be changed. She learns to fully inhabit the present, finding in this exact moment everything she needs for her happiness and fulfillment. This presence in the here and now becomes one of her most attractive and magnetic qualities. The compassion she develops, both for herself and for others, is of a different quality than what she possessed before. Before, her compassion could be mixed with pity, condescension, or a need to be needed. After the transformation, her compassion is pure.
It comes from a place of deep understanding of the human condition, without a personal agenda or need for control. This purified compassion makes her a healing presence in the lives of others. People naturally feel drawn to share their difficulties with her, knowing instinctively that they will find understanding without judgment. She becomes a safe haven in a world that often feels hostile and competitive. The transformed betrayed woman also develops a unique perspective on the concept of a soulmate. Before the transformation, she may have believed that there was a perfect person destined to complete her. Afterward, she understands that a soulmate is not necessarily someone who completes us, but someone who recognizes our completeness and chooses to walk with us not out of need, but out of shared joy. This new understanding of romantic love attracts to her life people who are at a similar level of spiritual evolution. No longer interested in relationships based on mutual need or emotional dependence, she becomes magnetic to relationships based on mutual admiration, shared growth, and conscious love. When true love finally arrives in the betrayed woman's life, it's recognized instantly, not by butterflies or adolescent excitement, but by a profound sense of coming home. It's a love that doesn't need to be proven or earned. It simply is, like the sunrise or the changing seasons. This mature love is characterized by ease and fluidity. There are no games, manipulations, or tests. There's transparent honesty, clear communication, and unconditional mutual support. It's a love that celebrates each individual's uniqueness while creating a unity that's greater than the sum of its parts. The transformed woman recognizes this true love because she finally understands the difference between loving and being addicted to someone, between intimacy and dependence, between union and merging. She can love deeply while keeping her own identity intact. She can surrender completely while preserving her autonomy. And here we arrive at the heart of the deepest transformation. The betrayed woman discovered she never needed to be saved by anyone. She always possessed within herself the power to transform, to heal, to reinvent herself. The pain was merely the catalyst that forced her to access inner resources she didn't even know she possessed. This discovery is simultaneously humbling and empowering. Humbling because it reveals how much of her power she had surrendered to others. Empowering because it reveals that this power was always and will always be inalienable. No one can take it from her, because it is the very essence of who she is. The transformed woman carries with her the certainty that no matter what the future holds, she will be able to handle it. Not because life will always be easy, but because she has developed a resilience fueled by an inexhaustible source, her connection to the divine within herself. This certainty radiates from her presence like a soft yet powerful light. People automatically feel calmer and more hopeful in her company, even without understanding exactly why. She has become a channel for the universe's healing energy, not through conscious effort, but as a natural result of her own transformation. And so, what began as a wound became a source of power. What began as betrayal became liberation. What began as an end became a beginning. The betrayed woman will never be the same. Not because she was broken, but because she was forged into something stronger, wiser, more beautiful than she ever imagined possible. This is spiritual alchemy in its purest form, the transformation of the lead of pain into the gold of wisdom. It's the promise that Deepak Chopra has always offered through his teachings, that each soul possesses within itself the potential not only to survive life's storms, but to emerge from them as a more evolved and radiant version of itself. And you, who have come this far on this journey of words and reflections, who have allowed these truths to penetrate your consciousness, you already know the answer to the question your soul is asking. You already know whether you are a soul who came to love loyally, whether you are a soul undergoing the transformation of fire, or whether you are a soul ready to recognize and honor the preciousness of loyal love when it crosses your path. The question isn't whether you will change. The question is, what will you choose to become?